Hello, welcome back to Reignite Your Soul podcast. I'm your host, Laura Plahuta, and once again, super stoked to be here with you. always am. Thank you so much for either being new here on the podcast or continuing to choose to listen. If you ever have any suggestions for any podcast topics, or if you have any specific guests or topics you would love to be hearing on the podcast, just go over to my Instagram, shoot me a message, and say hello. I would love to say hello. I'd love to hear from you. So, last week I promised that I would share some of my adventures of plant medicines from Colombia and how much they changed my life. I actually am very, very excited to share this story. It was the end of 2018 that end of 2019, end of 2019, when I headed over to Colombia, and 19, 20, 21, 22, so 3 years it's taken me to fully integrate this, to be able to kind of share everything with you. I know I've shared little bits here and there, but I'm super excited. Obviously, I won't be able to share all of it. Most of the stuff with plant medicines is all subconscious, and it comes and goes, and it works its magic, and then you never remember it again. Or it will come up in little bits throughout your life, and you'll remember little pieces as you kind of continue on with life. But I can share everything that's coming through and that's meant to come to you guys today. So, end of 2019, like I shared on the last podcast, if you haven't checked it out, and you want to hear a little bit more about my journey since my relationship ending and me quitting my paramedic career and kind of starting my entrepreneur journey, then you can go check out that last episode. And then the episode before that was with Phil Jelovic, who is a relationship coach, and I actually met him while I was in Colombia. So he was actually at the Ayahuasca retreat, so you can also check out that episode too. He is absolutely incredible. We chat all about masculine and feminine energies, communication styles, the differences between men and women. I've learned so much from him through our conversations over the years. 1 second. Sorry, I had to have a quick conversation with a huge Rottweiler who's so cute, who's protecting his house. Where was I? So Colombia. When I went, like I shared in the last one, that I was just like, I'm gonna go over, gonna do this retreat. I had a 3-week flight booked. And I was like, I'm gonna do this ceremony, this ayahuasca, this plant medicine. It's gonna change my life. And I'm gonna make all of my dreams come true. And it is continuing to unfold and has happened. The life I'm living now was a dream of mine, but it did not happen the way that I thought it would. I tell you that much. Oh my goodness. So when I went over there, I flew in with a friend of mine, Alex. Actually, she was already over there, so I met her there. And we had this Airbnb, and we went to this retreat. And so the very first night, I don't remember all the specific details from it, but I had a lot of firsts in that. The very first thing that we did was, I may even ask Keenan, who runs the retreat, to come on and share more about the specific medicines that we use, because he's actually Canadian from Brantford, and he has a really awesome story about going traveling and then starting up this healing retreat center, La Ceiba. So I'll probably reach out to him to have him on here as well. So he can definitely help fill in the blanks on this. So I will do my best. I'm just going to share my personal experience with what happened, and he could share about all the magic of the medicines, because that is not my expertise. So the very first night was just kind of meet and greet. I think there was 13 of us at this retreat, and I only knew one person. And I am a very extroverted person, but I've always had social anxiety. I don't really anymore, but sometimes I still do. And so at that point I was kind of a little bit more shy in bigger groups. So went into that, and I was excited. I was pretty calm about like the actual retreat and medicines. I honestly had no clue what I was in for. No fucking clue. So just like eyes blind going in. And so I remember the very first night we did an opening with Hape, which is a ceremonial tobacco snuff. And so they use a pipe and they blow it up your nose. And it is very, the experience that I had was, and I have never even smoked a cigarette in my life. Never. Okay. And even before I did ayahuasca, I had never done any psychedelics. I had only smoked weed in high school. So no experience with any of this stuff. So I got like the biggest head rush and I was sweating and I was sitting there on this chair and I'm just like, had so much energy in my body and I was so like uncomfortable that I was just shaking, like my body was just shaking. And I'm just like moving my feet up and down, sitting in this chair, and I'm like taking these big deep breaths and I'm like talking to myself like, you're okay, just breathe, you're okay. And it's interesting because that was the first time that I ever had to that extent, release control to something outside of myself. Which is so interesting to think, eh? We've been so conditioned with control, with no space for spirit or life to flow through us in our creations, that it was so uncomfortable for me to release that control. And I remember them sharing that prior to the retreat, just about like surrendering to the medicines. And you're like, okay, yeah, I can do that, no problem. But it's totally different when you're actually in them. So anyways, I got through that. And then we did cocoa leaf. And then also like a tobacco paste that you put on, it's just like you put on your thumb and you lick it. And oh my gosh, that one like almost made me vomit. Oh, we've got some little bunny medicine here with us. Cute little bunnies. So I did all that. That was all great. Went to bed. First ceremony. It's La Ceiba. It was at their brand new place. I think it was one of the first retreats they've ever had at that place because they did just move there. But it's up in the mountains in Colombia. Just like so beautiful. Just overlooking this huge valley and this huge mountain and the stars at night. Just like setting the tone for you guys. They've got this beautiful place. So we all had our beds set up. So it's 13 of us. We just have mattresses on the floor, all kind of set up beside each other. You all have your own puke bucket because it is very common in any plant medicines to purge, which is just a release. It's incredibly therapeutic. And so you just kind of bring all your stuff in, you set it there. They had amazing vegan food there. It was just like incredible. And they're all in their like ceremonial wear, which is very colorful, and they've got all their music, their instruments, and the shaman there, and it was just like such an incredible experience. And so going into it, ayahuasca served as a drink. So you line up, and he has it in this little cup, and he will pour you some ayahuasca into the cup, and then you bless it, and then you drink the cup. And it does not taste very good. I will say that, especially after 5 ceremonies. I actually just recently did an ayahuasca ceremony as well here in Canada, which I haven't shared anything about either, but we'll stick to this ceremony for now. So I had my first cup, and it was nighttime, so I just went and I just laid in my bed. And like I said, I had never done psychedelics before. I had smoked weed, but I didn't really know what to expect. And so after the first cup, you're supposed to wait a couple hours to make sure that the medicine kicks in because you don't want to take too much. And then after a few hours you're not really feeling anything, then you can go up for another. So I remember Keenan coming through and he's like, has the medicine kicked in? I'm like, I don't think so. And by that answer, he knew that the medicine had not kicked in. So I went up and got another cup. And then by the second cup, I was kind of seeing like jagged shapes kind of coming into the side of my vision, but very minor. And so then a couple hours went by again, and then I went up and got a third cup. And let me tell you, after that third cup, did I ever experience the medicine kicking in. It was insane. Wow, I just had the pleasure of just saying hello to like 12 bikers as they drove by. So awesome. So medicine kicked in, and I remember laying there. I had like a fuzzy blanket with me, which is just like so comforting for me. Obviously, when you're doing something new, you want to have like a sacred space where you feel comfortable and safe. So that's kind of how I had myself set up. And I was like puking like crazy, shitting. Like there was a point where I was doing both at the same time. Sorry if that's too graphic for some of you, but it is a reality of life, and also with plant medicines. So that is like an actual purge, and I've had a lot of digestive issues in my life, and a lot of IBS stuff, and I could feel the medicine moving through my stomach, moving through all of my organs and stuff, just cleaning stuff out. And so I was vomiting a lot and stuff like that. I remember literally laying there and feeling like almost like energetically like my mind kicked in from the main part of my brain into the subconscious, and my head went back, and I literally was like, oh my God, I feel like a crazy person. Like I know what it feels like, those people that you see in the movies that are in a psych ward all strapped up, just shaking back and forth. Like that's literally what I felt like. And I was like, oh my God, Laura, what the fuck did you do? And these ceremonies last like 6 hours. So I had that, like where I felt that shift back, and I was just like, oh my God, I feel like a crazy person. And so I was working through so many perceptions from all of the conditioning that I experienced growing up, with TV, with movies, with all of these things, all these perceptions and stories and beliefs that were created from that. And that first one was really tough because I didn't know how to surrender to the medicine. So I was fighting it. And when you fight the medicine, it will literally put you in a chokehold until you surrender. And eventually I did learn how to surrender, but it was not easy. So I literally remember being on repeat. I would close, as soon as I closed my eyes, I was having like the worst visions, like clowns with like twisting heads and like really fucking weird shit happening. And I was just terrified. So I would try to open up my eyes as much as I could. But when I would open up my eyes, and I felt so much pain in my body because of it just moving through. And I would puke in the bucket. I remember looking down at my feet, and they were kind of like somewhat blurry, and it was just candle lighting. And it literally, the best way I can describe it is like the lighting of a Saw movie. The lighting of a Saw movie, looking at my feet, and they're just like, they looked like dead. And I would like look at my hands, and then I would be so exhausted that my eyes would close again. And then I did this on loop, I don't know how many times, where I would wake up, just like sit up like out of panic because of what I was experiencing, puke in the bucket, look down at my feet. I was like, oh my God, they look dead. I would look at my hands, and then I would go back into the experience. And this happened so many times that I felt like a crazy person. And I was literally like, it was just all, I had to experience all of the programming and the conditioning as it was going through, and it was just cleansing everything. And then I don't know how I ended up doing another ceremony, but the medicine calls to you. Like if you are meant to do these medicines, they will call to you. And when I went back for the second ceremony, during the ceremony, I said the exact same thing as I said in the first. Laura, what the fuck is wrong with you? And so I went into that second ceremony, super, super tough again. I remember like going up into like the cosmos, and like it was just like crazy, like limitless place of just like expansion and experiencing being at the Holocaust and a whole bunch of dead people and dead babies and thinking about my family and remembering that like as long as I'm breathing, I'm good. And so I would literally like wake up and gasp and then like take a drink of water. I'm like, okay, you're good, Laura, you can go back into it. And I remember by the third ceremony, I was able to actually get myself into a meditative state. Actually, this was actually at the end of the second one, sorry. I was able to get myself into a meditative state, which was like incredible. And so the second and third ceremonies kind of went all into one. So I remember Keenan coming up to me and being like, are you ready for the next? I'm like, the next what? He's like, the next ceremony. I'm like, oh dear God, are you kidding me? Like, oh, I don't know. And then so we had a little chat about what it was that I was experiencing, and he kind of explained some things and whatnot. And up I went for the next ceremony. I don't even remember what he had shared at that point, but whatever it was, it did the trick. So it got me into that last ceremony, and or into that third ceremony, sorry. And the third one was the hardest that I had. I was so exhausted after experiencing that. It's a lot on your physical body. And your mental body and all of the bodies. So the last one is super tough. I don't remember too much from the third one, besides my physical body being so exhausted and literally just being okay with just my base needs of like water, sitting up, gasping for breath. And I remember my water bottle was down the hallway, and I was like, shit, I have to get up and get my water bottle because I was so thirsty. It was just survival mode. And I stood up to walk down this hallway, and once again, it was literally like a Saw movie where I'm like walking over like other people's beds. Just like my whole vision is kind of a little slightly blurry. It's only candlelight, and I'm trying to make it to this prize of this fucking water bottle that's at the end of the hallway. And it wasn't even a long hallway, and it felt like the longest hallway to get to this water bottle. And I finally got to it, and I was like, oh, my water. And I took a sip, and it was literally like the most magical thing ever. Like, it was everything that I needed in the world, was just this sip of water with this water bottle. And then I walked back to my bed and went back into my experience. It's funny because you'll probably have heard me say before that I hate water, and if not, I hate water. I'm learning to like water now because I've been drinking like spring water. But I love putting things in my water. You'll always see my water bottles with different colors in them because I just love things in my water. But that sip of water was just like magical. It was all I needed. And I remember in that one too, and I literally felt like my heart stopped, and then I gasped, and it was like I came back to life. And it was crazy because I had already like got to the point of being like, well, if I die, I love you, I had a great life, this was worth it. And it was just like massive ego death, you know, like massive ego death. And that was a hard ceremony. I remember laying there in the morning, just like curled up in my bed. I didn't want to get up and eat. I didn't want to go shower. Like, I literally was just like in bed, couldn't move. My friend Alex was there beside me, and I think she was a little concerned for me at that point. But she was there with me the whole time. And I was just like, how have I been so blessed to have what I've had in this lifetime? Like, it didn't seem fair. I felt so much guilt for having the life that I've had. And like, it wasn't okay for me to experience emotional lows because of the physical life that I've lived. And just thinking about all of the other people in the world that aren't blessed with all of the things that I've been blessed with in the physical world in this lifetime. And I laid there, and it took me quite a while to get out of bed. I ended up having a shower, and that definitely helped kick me out of it. But it was a huge processing from there, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. And then, which is so interesting, The human experience is so interesting. Like, it doesn't matter what life we are born into, our souls, this is my belief, our souls are incarnated into these bodies because they know which life they're here to live and what experiences they're going to gain, knowing what experiences and lessons the soul needs to learn. So there's no reason to have any shame or any guilt in this lifetime, or feel bad for people, People are living their experience and people don't know what they don't know. It's just like life in general as a human being is such a blessing, regardless of what the physical environment looks like. It's definitely more challenging ones than others, but I believe that it's all intentionally happening. So that was very difficult. And then the last ceremony was so great, guys. I was so scared to go into the last one. I remember talking to Danny, Keenan's partner, and having a chat with her before about Mother Ayahuasca. I'm like, oh my God, she's so tough. I don't know if I can do a fourth one. And the last one was beautiful. It was just like big inner child opening. It was during the day, this one, so I was laying on the hammock. I just had my eyes closed, and I was seeing so many beautiful, bright geometric shapes and a whole bunch of bright colors, which was super uncomfortable in my body. And it was interesting because I was experiencing the emotional shifts in my body as the visions changed that I was seeing. And I remember that's when it came through where Mother Ayahuasca was really teaching me about emotions, and that every single emotion, it's okay to feel that way. I have suppressed a lot of my emotions in the past just with my conditioning, that it's good to be a certain way, certain behaviors, certain emotions, certain expressions, or it's bad to be a certain way, which built up a lot of shame and stuff like that within my system. But she was really teaching me about all of the emotions. And so I remember just experiencing them. I'd see something shift in my vision, and then it would create the emotional response in my body. And then I would just breathe through it. I would take a nice big deep breath and exhale into it. And I would just say, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel this way. And I'm probably going to get a tattoo that says that. I wanted to get another one recently. I want to get a whole sleeve, but I cannot figure out what I want to do. So if you guys know any good tattoo artists that do like awesome, like spiritual, psychedelic type things, send them my way, please. Putting it out there, universe. Yeah, it was just like, it's okay to feel this way. And I remember just saying that over and over and over again. And as you do, and as you acknowledge them, and as you accept the emotional experience that you're going through, instead of pushing them away or distracting with doing things or all of these addictive behaviors I've had over the years, which actually in society's eyes I chose unconsciously, but addictions that were approved by society, like working, right? Or even like working out was it was an addictive thing. It was like I had to do it for a long time. And so by doing those things, then I wasn't actually experiencing the emotions. I was running away from the emotions that I was experiencing within, and just picked up different patterns. And also codependency was a huge one too, just relying on other people a lot as a distraction. So she was teaching me all about that. And I remember it was like I was just walking around and they were playing music. I got up and I danced, and I was just the best. But I remember she was just in my ear, and she's just telling me, she's like, you can be, do, or have anything that you want in this lifetime. And I'm arguing with her. I'm like, no, you can't. There's many rules, Mother Ayahuasca. This is not spirit land. This is the human planet. There are many rules that you must follow. And she's just like, no, none of those rules you have to follow. And I was arguing with her. I remember once that belief finally lifted and she cracked that belief system. It was almost like a balloon, that she finally popped it, and then all of the old belief just started spewing out, and it literally felt like something left me. And I was like, took a big deep breath, and I was like, holy shit, I can do or have anything I want in this lifetime. I can literally do whatever I want. And from that moment in the ceremony, oh my gosh, I was just like inner child glory. I was sitting by the pool just watching the one guy and his partner with their little kids playing in the pool, and they were just so cute, the cutest little family. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's so amazing. Like they're just so good. I'm like, I want to have a family like that one day. And then I like went to the back, and this beautiful garden, and like a big hill. And I was up there, and I was still like self-conscious about like fully being me at that point. So I'd look around, make sure nobody was watching. And then I would do a handstands. And I was just like literally doing handstands and just like in the grass, and attention span of like a 2-year-old. So I was probably only doing that for like a minute before I got distracted into something else. And then I went and grabbed my notebook, and I was laying in my bed just with my feet in the air on my back, just like kicking my legs around and moving them around. And I remember my friend Alex was like laying in her bed beside me in her experience as well. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's probably wondering what the fuck I'm doing, what's going on. But it was so funny. She was in her own experience anyway, but so funny. And I grabbed my notebook, and I still have this notebook at home. I drew this like unicorn. Worst unicorn ever. I'm not an artist. Not an artist. My creative skills have came out a lot more. Or the last little bit, I started singing and just playing some instruments and just little things here and there. I love writing. Writing's really my passion. And also speaking with you guys on here. But I just started writing in my notebook, and I wrote like my bucket list. And then I started writing a couple things, and I was like, fuck it. I crossed them all off, and I'm like, I don't even want a bucket list. It was just complete like child rebellion. I'm like, I don't even want a bucket list. I literally am just going to do what I want when I want. Just like a sassy teenager. And then I literally like was like getting kind of bored, because I'm like, oh my God, like I'm having so much fun, but like how much fun can we have, and like how long can this last? And then just Katie was like, well, what if this didn't have to end? And I'm like, well, that'd be kind of cool. And then like it ended up like that was like I think like the majority of it. Like it was just like an incredibly like expanding experience for me. And I'm forever grateful for all of the experiences that I had. But they do say after the retreat is when the real work starts. And that's really when the real work started. The day after, 2 days after the retreat ended, I had a panic attack. I remember messaging Keenan, and I was like, I'd never had a panic attack before. Being a paramedic, I'd seen them a lot, but never have been on the other side of them experiencing it. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I was like, am I going to stay this way? Like, what is going on? He's like, Alex, like that night, she just like put her, like, we were sleeping in the same bed because we were on an Airbnb. And I'm like, can you just sleep with your hand on me? Just ground me. And she was so great. I'm forever grateful for her. And she's had many panic attacks in her life, unfortunately. Such a strong, incredibly brave, incredible woman. I'm also going to have her on the podcast too. She just put her arm on me and was just like, just breathe, it's okay. And so I put music on, and I was just breathing, and the whole night my heart was pounding. It was just like super intense for me to be able to go through, and I made it through the night. And then we got up in the morning, and I went to CrossFit, and I was going to this incredible CrossFit gym over there, Nifty Box. Shout out to Nifty Box. Amazing. I went to that class, and it was in the morning, and I literally just felt so numb. I was just like so like in such a depressive state, like completely numb. Like I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go back to my job. I don't know how I'm going to like, and my work at that time was with network marketing with Isogenics. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do calls. Like I can't do anything. And that was when I decided I wasn't going to go home after the 3 weeks, because I was like, I can't go back to normal society. You have to, when you do plant medicines, it's the integration period afterwards is super important, because you're reprogramming your mind. So I was like, I can't go back to normal society. I had a lot of resentments for all of the systems that program me, a lot of resentments for my family, so many resentments that I had to work through when I started awakening to kind of how much the conditioning I experienced impacted the quality of life I was living and what was possible. So I was at CrossFit and I did the workout and I was just so numb. And I remember sitting there afterwards, and I was just sitting on the ground and I was like, I don't even know how I feel, but I just feel like I need to cry and I don't even know how to cry. Which was crazy because crying was always seen as weakness. And so it was like I didn't even know how to cry. And so Keenan was just like, put on some sad music, just go into your bedroom and just like allow it all to just flow out. And so I did that. I took the whole day. Alex went out for the day. I just sat there in bed and I cried the whole day, put on sad music and just journaled. I literally started from as far back as I can remember, from birth all the way up until my relationship ending. And there were still some things there that were still a bit too painful. Things got a little bit too much emotionally painful. So I put that away for a while and I just cried. And I just allowed myself to feel it. And Alex brought me home dinner. And then that was kind of like the beginning of me relearning how to live after having such a massive transformational experience with ayahuasca. So that's my experience with ayahuasca. After that, it was like an emotional roller coaster. I would have extreme anger. I would have extreme like sadness. It was just like crazy, which is incredible. Like looking back, I'm like, it's so cool how it just cleans everything out. All of the stuff that was suppressed, it just started coming to the surface for me to experience. And this is really where I got into, like now I do emotional clearing work, because the emotional mastery piece around it, to be a masterful human, you have to learn how to master your emotions. And a lot of people, with our emotions, they don't have to be outward expressions. They just have to be felt and breathed through and flowed. But a lot of the conditioning that we have as well, we attach to certain emotions. We think some are good, some are bad. We've been raised in this duality consciousness instead of this unity consciousness, which is one of the things that I'm breaking out of myself and helping other people to break out of, is this like whole good bad paradigm, because it really kind of fucks with your self-identity. It fucks with everything. It's not good for the planet to be living in this consciousness. So elevating us into unity consciousness, where everything is accepted, everything is loved. You're perfect exactly as you are. And it's also not one of those like only love and light things either. Like it's the full acceptance of all of the things of life and just really bringing people together in community. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster since ayahuasca. I do have some other stories that I will share as well about some other medicines that I've used in Colombia, about yopo, because that was a big transformational journey as well. And then bufo, and then also my energy healer that I was working with, Dr. Jamie, when I was in Colombia, because it was after that I came home and when I came back to Canada, I went through all my Reiki levels and ended up doing a lot of the recovery stuff for addictive type behaviors and really being able to master my emotions and clear out all of the old emotional traumas that I've experienced over my lifetime, so that I could really master my inner world, so that I could bring it to the outer world. So it's been a really, really cool adventure since then. But I hope that this brings some light onto my ayahuasca experience. If you have done ayahuasca before, that is so awesome. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram at Laura Plahuta and share your story with me. Let me know if this episode resonated with you at all, what you loved most. And if you haven't done ayahuasca, if you've been feeling the call to it, one thing that I will say with plant medicines as well is that they're not for everybody. They are very intense and they're not for everybody. You know, you have to be a certain person that's ready for it, and you will know when you're ready, if you are ready for them. And don't feel like there's something wrong with you if you don't feel called to medicines, you know? There's so many different ways of having healing and experiencing ways of improving your life on this planet. And I do believe that the medicines will only get you so far in your journey. And then from there, you learn a lot through life as well. So it just happened to be a big part of my journey that really helped me to start connecting to spirit, to something greater than myself, and to really just love, you know. We can call it spirit, we can call it God, we can call it whatever we want, but it really is just an unconditional love, and it's just a new way of being. So it was really the thing that cracked me out of a lot of my conditioning, of just like the whole timeline of just like the rat race, you know, going to school, getting a job, working until you're so-and-so amount, finding a partner, buying a house, having a baby, and then retiring and traveling, maybe doing a little bit of traveling, supporting your kids, your grandkids, you know. And if that's a life that excites you, then that's fucking epic. For me, it wasn't the route that I wanted to take, and I think the biggest thing that I learned from that is that everybody's life will look differently. And I believe that we are all here for different reasons, so nobody's life should look the same. And there's a lot of people's lives that are pretty cookie cutter just because of our conditioning that we've had in society. So just know that you can create your life however the heck you want to. You the boss. So yeah, that's my ayahuasca story. Plant medicines have been a huge part of my journey, like I shared. After that experience, I did a few more in Colombia, and then I took a break from them for a long time, and then I just started getting back to them since last summer again, when I did Iboga, and then I did ayahuasca again just a few months ago. But yeah, if you feel called to them, reach out, let me know, because I do have connections to where you can go and have it facilitated in an amazing way, because you do want to be intentional with where you do it, who you do it with, because the energies and everything, it's something that you don't want just anybody doing. So reach out, let me know, and I can connect you with those people. But I love you so much. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for your interest in hearing my story, and for being here and supporting and loving and continuing on your own personal growth journey. You're so loved, you're so valued, and thanks for being here on this amazing, beautiful planet that we're on together in this lifetime. What a friggin' blessing. The most massive blessing ever. And despite whether you're in the ebbs or the flows right now, just keep on going. But if you feel like this episode will resonate with friends or family, please feel free to share it out to them. I love you so much, and I will chat with you on the next episode. Bye. Love you.